Welcome back, everybody. Psychic Medium Angelo here, and you are with Wrestling with the Future. I am joined, as always, by the fountain of information, the guru of pro wrestling, Jeff the Ref Robinson. How are you, Jeff?
Doing great. How you doing?
This fountain?
Uh-oh, I hear a voice in the wilderness. And that voice, ladies and gentlemen, that you see and hear, that is Sandy Manley. And you're like, well, who the hell is Sandy Manley? Well, you know her better by her ring name. She is Gremlina, one of the Glow girls. And yes, she was with Glow from season 3 and season 4, I believe. I believe it was, I think you left probably Gremlina about like 89, somewhere around there.
I came into the show in 1987, and I left in February of 88 due to a knee injury.
88. Okay, so it wasn't 89. It was 88. Okay. And then after that, I think if I'm right, you went into doing a little bit of like talk radio.
Yes, I have been. I was co-host of Cloverleaf Radio show for almost 10 years.
And I think that ended in 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. You were also, as I know it, and Jeff held this piece of information from me, you little bastard, that you were the commissioner, acting commissioner from 2010 to 2012 for our beloved Vanguard Championship Wrestling in Norfolk, Virginia.
I was the best commissioner they ever had.
Oh, look out. She's putting herself over. Jeff, so let me ask you, Jeff.
Yeah.
She's already putting herself over like a good wrestler.
Oh, of course.
So what kind of commissioner was this woman?
Oh, well.
Controversial.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll say this. I was on the payroll, so I'm a little bit biased towards her on that one. But no, honestly, she did a very good job. And controversial, yeah, she made some controversial decisions and everything else. And I mean, it led to, I mean, it was a fun time that we were having right there in VCW. We were really clicking on all cylinders at that point in time.
Right.
And we were running 2 to 3 shows a month. And, you know, you know, I mean, I think, you know, which we'll go to later on, but it led to one of Grimmy's, I mean, she's even said a career highlight for her, probably a career moment. She got to do a live Piper's Pit with Roddy Piper, and where, you know, he called her out there to the ring, and she was there right there dead center and went word for word verbally with him, not sparring with him, but as far as being in the ring with Piper.
I think initially what I said to him is, Mr. Piper, you are not the commissioner.
Yes. And by the way, everybody can find all that angle on the Vanguard YouTube channel. It is up there.
Yes.
That the whole spot.
And so I have to know, how did Hot Rod take that?
It ended up with me getting a hug and a kiss on the cheek. That's how
it did.
Beautiful.
And
I loved Roddy. He was a great guy.
Now,
great guy. All right, Jeff, before you jump into the next topic, I just want to also let people know that Gremlina is a 2017 honoree of the Cauliflower Alley Club, of which I am a lifetime member. And that club is called the Ring of Friendship. What we do is we honor outstanding individuals for their contribution to the sports of wrestling and boxing. And so Gremlin, I'm sure later on in the show, will tell us how that came about. But I want to say congratulations on being a member of an all-female crew that was honored by Cauliflower Alley.
That was another highlight, to be there with my sisters and in front of my idols and icon, because I'm a closet mark of old-time wrestling. I mean,
we all are. Even Jeff. He won't admit it, but he's a mark for the business.
Oh, no, I'll admit I'm a mark for it. I'm just not a current day mark.
Yeah, I know.
You and I have had that discussion. We know what we're talking about.
Exactly. So, Jeff, let's do some housekeeping. And Grimmy, just feel free to chime in anytime you want.
I don't know if you want that or not, but sure.
So,
Jeff, what happened this week in our beloved sport?
Well, I mean, I guess the one thing is, and I mean, I'm not really want to dive deep into it, but
no, of course.
The ratings dropped for AEW. You're dropping right. I mean, at the 600,000 mark, and that's the second. I mean, actually, they've been dropping steadily every week since our very first week out of the gate. And then on top of that, pictures that were released from the live people that were there, live crowd, only half of the building was filled, and they were having to, fill the audience in and bring them down to the floor where they have been selling out. That's just. I mean, the bottom line is that's not a good sign, and for a new promotion that was the
Well, if you
VCW.
Yeah, if you believe what they're saying, they're putting. I guess they're putting the heat on the holidays for it.
Yeah,
they're saying Thanksgiving. Put a damper on their their ticket price point. People weren't spending the money to come out. You can say what you want. The fact of the matter is, every week steadily, the rating has gone down. And that's, you can debate it, you can argue it, but you can't change what is, it is.
If I may chime in.
Yeah, please hop in anytime you want here.
I think we have a show Saturday.
Yeah.
Are we or are we not already sold out basically at ringside?
Oh, no, we have sold out. Well, I think we may only have 10 to 15 tickets left on ringside.
Okay, now how many people are we talking about in the venue, Jeff?
About a 500 seated venue.
Okay.
And our ringside, the sellout ringside, and what she's getting at is that is about 100 to 110, depending on how we work seating that night.
Would it surprise you if I told you that there are promotions here in New Jersey that are having trouble getting 100 people in a 500-seat building?
No, it doesn't surprise me because it really, with independent wrestling, I've seen VCW when we were trying to get on all, it's a lot of it has to do with the booking. Some of it has to do with the names you bring in. And, but you really, key bottom line is you still need to advertise, and you can't just advertise on Facebook.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? When you're advertising Brian Pillman Jr.,
oh yeah,
J.J. Dillon, Tatanka, Hall of Famers, right?
Yep. And
you can't get 75 people in a building that holds 500 people.
What did we have with Hacksaw the last time? 450?
Sold it. We almost sold that one out.
Yeah.
You're talking about almost 500 tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that with Piper. We've done that.
No, we sold. We did.
Well, yeah, but Piper. You're talking about Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Well,
we've done it with Kevin Nash. We've done it with.
We do it consistently with VCW, with anybody we bring in.
It's all about the product. What do you offer? What do you bring to the table?
The one thing that brought
if you're not afraid to advertise.
You want the truth?
I'll say what it is.
Some of the best old school style wrestling I have ever seen.
Thank you. And that's what it comes down to.
I'm sorry. These boys put 210% into their show.
I think people, you know what, Gremlina, I'm going to agree with you there.
Guys.
And I think finally on this show, I have somebody old school who agrees with me, Jeff the ref. And yeah, okay. Listen, don't you go dissing my tag team partner, brother, because I'll lay the smack down on you.
I was going to say, I normally do agree with you on the old school feel of everything.
But here's the thing, though, Jeff. You know, people that go to the indie shows, they don't want to see the flip, flop, and fly. They can stay at home and watch that.
Yes, that's right. No,
You know?
they want to see. I mean, you know what I was going to say was, and it's what actually got Gremlina over to VCW to begin with. Besides my persistent, hacking at her and begging her to please just give us a chance, give us a chance, give us a chance.
Right.
And that was about 6 months of me begging.
Yeah, about that.
And I just said, I said two things. I promise you. One,
Right.
we do not make fun or disgrace the business. And two, it's an old school feel.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
When she showed up, I think it was after probably the second match in. Granted, I was concussed that night. I did have a concussion, but I did talk to her afterwards. But she pulled me aside and she even said, "Thank you." She said, "You have reignited a small fire in me that I thought was burned out."
Well, it also didn't hurt that we had, this is a funny story. Jeff, my husband, and a few of the guys were standing outside the back door. This car pulls up. You remember this one. And this woman sticks her head out. "Is there wrestlers in there?" Big sign, "Tonight, professional wrestling."
Now, if I could share a really quick funny story from that show as well.
Please do.
Not that one, 2 shows later.
It was too, okay. We had VCW had Charlie Haas booked. Charlie Haas ended up having to take a booking outside of the country. We needed somebody on the fly.
Right.
Our promoter got in Steve Carino.
Yes, Stevie.
Steve Carino comes in via mask.
I love Steve. He's a great kid.
And he wore his mask so the fans didn't know it was him. That was our surprise.
Yeah.
Now we're in Norfolk, Virginia. Home, Norfolk, Virginia. And yes, at a Catholic high school, mind you.
Oh.
And and Carino knew he needed to be a heel that night.
Yeah.
But he knew that he was going to get a face pop when he initially walked out there. So he grabs the mic and first thing he says, "Hey, Norfolk, you guys suck." Boo. Okay, that's guaranteed heel heat. Okay, to keep it going,
yeah,
he furthers it. "Oh, this is Norfolk, Virginia, home of Magnum TA." Yeah. By the way, he got what he deserved. Holy hell! What are you doing, dude?
And
the place,
tell him
they're booing him.
Karma got Steve.
And then here we go. Gremmy, I had told her ahead of time. I said, "Gremlina," I said, "we need him to get some heel heat." She knew what to do. She goes over to the rail and she's jaw jacking him, but giving him what for. He looks at her and she's vertically challenged. She'll tell you that. And
she's tall.
And he looks at her and he goes, "Well, shut up and sit down, you Oompa Loompa."
God.
And then so I get him to the bag and I said, "Steve, I know you were getting heel heat, buddy, and I appreciate it." I said, "But by the way, the girl who you said shut up and sit down, you Oompa Loompa, is a Glow legend." He said, "Oh shit, can I please apologize to her?" I think it took 2 or 3 years, but he finally got that apology to me.
Oh God.
At the Lutz Cup.
Yep.
It was at the Lutz Cup.
Yep. So that was just one of the, that was a very, very funny moment. I think in our lives there at VCW, we have had quite a few and here and there and yonder, but
I think we should tell people that as we are going on the air tonight, the legendary Rock and Roll Express have just won number 9.
9 times.
9-time World Tag Champions for the National Wrestling Alliance.
That says a lot considering now people may not realize the significance of that. You're talking Ricky.
I love Ricky and Robert. Ricky and Robert stayed at my house for 2 nights.
Sweet.
And yeah, they did. Great guys. They worked for me a few times. They stayed at my house, and one night, first of all, I don't think we slept for 2 nights, but one night, I think we probably went through a carton of cigarettes just between me and Ricky.
I'm not
Because
surprised.
he smokes like a chimney, brother.
He does.
And how he goes in the ring and could go for 30, 40 minutes and not get blown up.
No, you want me to tell you what it is? And he actually kind of told me this.
Yeah.
He gave me kind of the Iggy on it. He kayfabes half the cigarette. He doesn't smoke the whole thing.
I can tell you when he was with me.
No. But I'm saying
he was chowing down pretty good.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is, like, he'll sit there and act like he's puffing more than he is actually inhaling. But
yeah.
I mean, still, the fact that the guy can go 60 minutes and he smokes. And actually, he did quit. He quit a couple years ago. But
okay.
Oh, and can I also say,
I'm in.
And not bragging, but I was a guest at the 2-Man Power Trip of Wrestling, and actually, Jim Cornette was very nice and respectful to me. I wonder why.
Well, tell me why. I want to know.
Well,
Either way, I like Corny too. In fact, if you've ever seen Gremlina, if you've ever seen our podcast hub, you know, the pictures that are featured prominently, of course, are Uncle Ivan and Jeff, and me and Jim Cornette.
Well, Jim did a radio interview with WRVA's Jeff Katz. And he had made some comments about something about a gremlin under a bridge.
Yeah.
So, naturally, I had to call in the show.
There you go.
The announcer said, "What? I'm not trying to throw anyone under a bus." And I said, "Well, Cornette deserves to be under a bus." You know, heels know. Heels got this way of communicating.
Sure.
And when I went to the 2-Man Power Trip of Wrestling, I walked up, introduced myself, talked to Jim. Nicest guy in the world. But what was really cool was they put me next to Baby Doll. She had some stories.
No doubt. And she's going to be a guest coming up next month on our show.
Sweet. Nikki is a sweetheart and very proud of her.
Lena, I want to get into something with you really quick. Since we got you here.
Okay.
Have you watched the new Netflix series?
Sure.
What do you think of it?
At first, I wasn't too happy because, and I'm just going to preface this by, we OGs, as we call ourselves, original girls.
Exactly.
Had no notice.
You know what? I heard that.
On Facebook, boom, Netflix is, and we're like, hello, how are you going to tell our story without us? Well, there was a little bit of stirrings and a lot of drama, but we eventually watched it. In fact, ROXY, Aster, and several of the Glow Girls were a guest at a WWE taping, and they actually brought in the Netflix cast. And both sides were starstruck. Both sides were very, very nice. I think the writing is very good. I think the acting is amazing. Sheila the She-Wolf. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no.
All I'm going to say is this. You go and look at pictures of Gremlina as Gremlina when she was one of the Glow Girls, and you can find it all over images, Google image that. And then you compare her to Sheila the She-Wolf, and you tell me there's not similarities there in their characters.
Of course.
And Sheila roller skates. I was a 4-H roller skating champion. She was from Baltimore. I went to my Glow audition when I lived in Baltimore. Let me think. Okay, no, it wasn't me at all.
Well, now real quick,
I I would say this. I love the show.
Yeah.
It has grown on me. It is Hollywood. It is a fictionalized version
Yeah.
of what we went through. We were more regulated. We had curfews. We had rules. We were fined.
And if I'm not mistaken, the guy who's
Well,
playing Money Man
it's
there,
the
he was not.
fundamental difference between a television show and a wrestling promotion.
Oh, absolutely.
Glow, the original Glow, was a legitimate wrestling promotion
Exactly.
that toured, that did house shows, that did television.
Exactly.
And let's be real clear. You can only tell a portion of the story on the Netflix programming.
And
Because, a lot of these, from my knowledge, and I've talked to a few of the ladies, but from my knowledge, there were actually a couple of women that considered suing the Netflix program.
I don't know. I know that there was a lot of hard feelings. I know that Matt Simber was not particularly happy with the portrayal of the director.
And who's
Right.
Matt Simber?
Matt Simber is the creator and director of Glow.
And now this is what I was going to get into with you really quick. They portray the guy on the Netflix series as trying to sleep around with the girls and it's kind of a slimy little dude.
Yeah.
And you're
a drug-addled alcoholic chain smoker.
right. Now, what about Matt Simber?
Matt never smoked, never drank, never did a drug. If you were a girl caught using a drug, bye-bye, Sheila.
Now, let me get into really quick with you, Grimmy. We're gonna actually rewind. We're gonna hop in our DeLorean here really fast.
Okay.
We're gonna take you back to 1986, 87, whatever. What led to your tryout with Glow?
Yeah, how does a nice, calm, mild-mannered, sweet person end up getting sucked into the world of women's wrestling? Because you seem like a normal, a decent, normal person.
Well, first of all, I've been a wrestling fan since I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I'm talking, my first matches were, on the card was Johnny Weaver and Nelson Royal.
Okay. Talking about my day.
I'm Crockett, NWA, Mid-Atlantic.
Johnny Weaver and George Beckett.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. When I was a teenager, I started doing photography for the shows, and I even dated a photographer from Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Okay.
I met a lot of the NWA talent that way. Fast forward, I moved to New York City, and I just started hanging out at the clubs and stuff. And no, I'm going to go on record. I was never a ring rat.
There you go. She was a fan and not a ring rat, and there's a huge difference.
No, I'm quoting Bret Hart, you are family. I would be a chauffeur. I would run interference for these guys with the ring rats.
My understanding, Gremlina, like I said, I did a little homework on you. They told me that your official position was handler.
No, I wasn't a handler. I was more of a, hey, bartender, give me 8 beers. Set up a table.
Yeah.
Hands
clamor. You know what they call that?
Hey, boys, free beer. Oof.
You know what they call that? Being a handler.
I can't handle those boys.
No, in other words, what a handler does, a handler is the person that runs interference for the guys.
Okay.
Get the beer, pull the table aside, shoo away the ring rats, that sort of stuff.
In that case, yeah, I was to a point.
Oh, I know you were.
And I had the time of my life. Well, me and my ex-husband, we were dating at the time. We would watch wrestling, and his big dream was to be the next big manager. He wanted to be the next big Freebird manager, whatever. Yeah, right. Well, the girl he was dating when he started dating me, was a big woman. She was 5'8", big woman. Well, we were watching Glow, and I got to admit, I was pretty impressed. You never saw women wrestling, really. I mean, sure, you had Wendy Richter and the Rock and Wrestling Connection, but I'm like you. The women I saw were the filler matches, the Princess Victorias, the Velvet McIntyres, maybe one on a card every now and then.
Right.
Well, it's a show, and it's all women wrestling. And
Yeah.
well, this is pretty cool. And I was impressed with the characters. And they came across and said, hey, if you want to be a Glow girl or if you know someone, blah, 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 call this number. So we did. And found out that the next audition that was on the East Coast was in Commerce, Georgia. Now, note, I was in Baltimore, Maryland with these people. We drove all night from Baltimore, Maryland to Commerce, Georgia.
Okay.
I'm in jeans and a Hot Rod t-shirt. I'm not going to be covered up. I'm a Piper Mark from way back. Way back. Anyway, we had a flat tire. I'm in a ponytail, glasses on, no makeup, no contacts, no t-shirt, jeans, tired, cranky. And Matt Simber had a very clear vision of what he wanted for Glow.
Right.
He wanted a mixture of hee-haw, Mad Magazine, and wrestling. That was his vision.
Yeah.
And he had a certain image of what kind of women he wanted. The man was married to Jane Mansfield, okay?
Yeah.
Famous model. Actress.
Oh, yeah.
His stepdaughter is Mariska Hargitay.
Yeah.
On Order Special Victims Unit, okay?
Yeah.
The man
Yeah.
had...
SVU.
Yeah, man had a vision. Well, he was talking, and we were talking, and there was no other people. The auditions were basically over. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this was a bus trip anyway. Well, he made a comment to the girl. Her name was Lisa. He said, you know, my show is called The Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and you are too ugly for my show.
Okay.
I'm sitting here going, I drove 12, 14 hours for this bullshit. I looked at him and the head writer that was standing next to each other, and I just went like this. I said, fuck you.
No, it's okay. You can drop F-bombs here. We do it
Yes,
all
you
the time.
can.
I did that. And I'm thinking, okay, here I am. I'm going to get thrown out or arrested or what. He and the writer looked at each other, and they both looked at me, and they said, we want you for our show. Are you out of your minds? I'm 4'9" tall, 105 pounds, dripping wet. You see me as a wrestler? You're out of your friggin' minds, dudes. No way. Phone calls. Okay. I'll come out and do it. I get out there, and I'm in a room with 60 or 70 other women. Because this is after David McLean had taken half the roster and formed POW.
Yes.
Okay.
Having to start all over again, which means revamping old characters, bringing in new characters.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, just so people know, Gremlina, back in 1976, long before G.L.O.W., there was G.L.O.W. It was the Gorgeous Ladies of Women's Wrestling.
Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, Johnny Cafarella, Johnny C., our MC, had a part of that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. I know that.
We're getting some deep history here. Go ahead.
And people often forget about POW.
Yeah.
Well,
Johnny and I talked about that on one of the cruises.
No.
And David had a more wrestling approach. Matt had a more, like I said, hee-haw meets Mad Magazine meets wrestling. But say what you will, there were markets and areas where we beat the then WWF in ratings.
Yeah, they did.
I could tell you that the Philadelphia market was one of them.
We beat them.
That's huge.
And we were on late at night.
Yeah.
And the training was hard. Like I said, we started about 9 in the morning. And from 9 in the morning to like 5 in the afternoon with just one break for lunch, it was physical. It was aerobics. It was wrestling training. It was running the ropes. It was gymnastics. It was working the heavy bag. It was learning how to bump.
Now,
Sure.
who trained you?
Colonel Minuchka.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about Colonel Nanuchka. That's a name from the past, Colonel Nanuchka.
She was there from season 1 on.
Yep.
The season 1 and 2 girls were trained by Mondo Guerrero.
Yes.
Way an amazing man. I love him. I love Mondo.
Yeah.
Now, Grimmy, if I, there were a couple girls who did go on to further success after Glow.
We were talking Hall of Famer Tina Ferrari, Lisa Moretti, 5-time WWE champion, Hall of Famer Ivory.
Yep.
Was a Glow girl.
Yep.
Yes, sure was.
And now when you so you go through your training and you learn your basic, your bumping and whatever. Now they make this pitch to you and they go, okay, we want you to be a manager.
Well, actually the idea they had, and like I said, Matt didn't give me a lot to work with. All he said to me was, little people are mean, evil, vicious ankle biters. You're Gremlina. That's what he told me about my character. It wasn't till later. So I watched Gremlins.
Okay.
I knew I couldn't be the cute, cuddly little furry thing.
So you adopted Spike.
So I was Stripe.
Yep.
And I mixed the... He would talk, if y'all remember the movie Gremlins, he would say, Gizmo, Kaka, and Digo. Well, I'm not a guy. So I thought, well, what other voice brings terror to people? And it immediately clicked. The Wicked Witch of the West.
Exactly.
I'll you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. I combined the two. And Gremlina sort of talks like this.
I love it. I love it. Now, I want to just point something out to fans and anybody listening to our show. You notice this is all character development. She was just given an idea and she ran with it.
And then Roxy asked her, believe it or not, of the Park Avenue Knockouts, who I may have a surprise for y'all in a little bit. My hair. I made a joke to Matt. I said, so what are you going to do? Make me look like a skunk? Give me black hair with a white stripe? He goes, well, you keep that up and I might give you white hair with a black stripe, which is what happened.
Yep. Now, what was, okay.
He decided he wanted, with me and Daisy, our dynamic was...
That's what I was going to get to, yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No. I was going to get to her and Daisy and what led to that.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Okay, good.
Was, if you've ever read the book or seen the movie by John Steinbeck of Mice and Men.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I was going to be the little mean guy that made the big dumb guy do all the fighting and work.
Okay, so your deal was to make him do or her do your bidding.
Well, the story went that Daisy was not too bright.
Right.
And she got into a lot of debt. I came along and picked up her debts. I paid them off.
As any good manager would.
Well, I don't know so much about good management, but, it made a nice servant. Whatever. I forced her to get in the ring and do the fighting. I brought her in on a chain. I used a whip.
And that pretty much led to her eventually becoming a sympathetic heel.
Oh, yeah.
To the fans.
Sympathetic heel. And You were talking about character development. When I finally had to leave,
Yeah.
the only reason I left was my knee. I asked the writer, and by the way, all the raps you see me doing on TV, I wrote those myself.
Now, how much leeway did they give you in writing for your own character?
I wrote my raps.
Oh, wow. So they gave you creative control.
Some of the girls got more creative control than the others.
Gremlina, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
What can women wrestlers of WWE and even to some extent AEW learn from Glow?
Learn how to tell a story.
Thank you.
Learn how
Yeah.
to pull an audience in. Don't be a cookie cutter. Because the thing I have against today's women wrestlers, and don't get me wrong, there are some phenomenal second generation athletes. Charlotte Flair,
Yeah.
Addie Neidhart.
Mhm. Oh, no question about their athletic ability.
Wonderful, Becky Lynch.
Sure.
We have some phenomenal women out there.
They main event in WrestleMania.
The same.
But Jeff, their ability to headline WrestleMania doesn't mean they can tell an effective story.
And I'm going to quote the movie Moana and The Rock. You're welcome.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Now,
Jeff and I have had this conversation, Grimmy, that, and for the record, people who listen to our show know that I'm not a huge fan of women's wrestling. Again, I'm 60 years old. The women I watched were Donna Christianello, Penny Banner, Joyce Grable, Princess Victoria, Fabulous Moolah, even to some extent, Velvet McIntyre, early Wendy Richter.
I know Ann Casey.
And I see somebody like Charlotte Flair, who is incredibly athletic, but she's so stiff, she can't sell a story.
Nah, I gotta disagree, man.
Well, you can disagree all you want, but she's stiff.
Well, she may be. No. I mean, I don't know when the last time you actually watched a Charlotte match, but I'll say this.
This is what you've got to look at. Charlotte, and I love him. I grew up with him. I watched him have pizzas delivered to a bar one night. Ric Flair is the man. Ric Flair has probably forgotten more about professional wrestling than some of these young bucks today.
No question about it.
If you want to see, and I tell young wrestlers, I said it in I sat in on a panel that Neil Sharkey and Timmy Danger did at Virginia Comic-Con in October. If you young bucks and you young men today want to know how to wrestle, watch some of the Flair Steamboat matches from the Clash of Champions, from the
1989, the trilogy.
Bingo. They could keep you right here in this hand for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this in defense of the women's wrestling of today. They are more athletic. They're not in there doing a bunch of hair pulls and a bunch of hair whips and a bunch of this is and that's and that they did back in your day, Angelo, that you grew up watching. Women were used as a spectacle to draw in an audience when you're watching it. They were only featured one time, and it was every now and then.
And if they want to bring their numbers up, they will continue that protocol.
To see where they are today, no. They need to. People do enjoy watching. Some people enjoy watching the women's matches over the men.
That's blatantly not true. A poll was recently done. Of 1,000 people that were polled, more than 70% chose the men over the women.
Okay. We could argue this all day, and I'm not trying to go down there because we got Gremlina here, the lovely guest, but
the numbers are the numbers. I mean, that's it.
But, in no disrespect, the women don't need to go back.
There you go.
They don't have to go back.
No,
They
but that's
can
what you're
take-
saying.
I'm not tooting my horn. I've heard it from the Honky Tonk Man. I've heard it from DiBiase. I've heard it from WWE Hall of Famers. What Glow did for women's wrestling will never be done again because
That's true. What they did can be surmised in one sentence. It's simple. They hooked you with their story and their personalities. They had characters.
And it was all shapes, all sizes.
But then, okay,
Exactly.
as far as not having characters, though, that's on the WWE for not giving the girls a character to go with.
I disagree. It's on every promotion for not giving their women characters. It's not limited to WWE, and I will defend the women in this regard. They are basically players, puppets, if you will. Their strings are being pulled for them. Let's be real clear.
Well, and that's my problem. And please, I'm not bashing. Vince McMahon did an incredible thing for this sport of wrestling. He made it no longer a dirty secret. Everybody could watch wrestling, just like Glow did. I give props. Vince McMahon is the P.T. Barnum of his day.
No question about it.
But he also is the P.T. Barnum because any sucker will buy what he's having, and I've seen him ruin a lot of men's careers as well.
Sure.
Well,
because the one thing Matt did do, despite anybody who had a problem with him, despite the arguments we would have, Matt would at least let us have some control over where we were going with our characters. Sure.
I understand.
He would put a kibosh when it needed to be.
Sure.
But his main focus was telling a story, making the audience have a good time, and keeping us girls safe.
Now, I'll say this really quick about watching Glow. Like you said, Grimmy, it came on late at night. It came on here in Norfolk. It came on at midnight.
I can't tell you the stories I've heard. We used to sneak downstairs at 1 o'clock in the morning because our parents wouldn't let us watch it.
Right. My mom, the first time my mom saw me watching Glow, I think my mom thought I was some kind of like closet perv. And I'm going, it's wrestling, Mom. But no, well, I mean, I'm just telling you what it was, the way she looked at it as a mom with a young son at 10 years old watching women's wrestling. She's looking at it going, why are you watching this? This is not what you watch normally on Saturdays, son. And I'm going, I'm like, but it's wrestling to me, as I've often said, I would watch any and all wrestling. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
I should point out to people.
Bad, I watched it.
I should point out to people that Glow came on in Philadelphia as a replacement series, and it was being broadcast at 10 a.m. in the cartoon hour on Saturday mornings.
Sweet.
So now, here's the problem I have. I just want to tie this all together. You know, Gremlina, you mentioned Vince McMahon being the P.T. Barnum of wrestling, and that he's been called that many times.
There's a sucker
but like a good magician, P.T. Barnum never gave away the secrets of his tricks. Vince McMahon exposed everything.
Not just Vince, though. You can't just hold him to the fire, man.
I have to.
No. I don't necessarily agree with that because
he absolutely did.
Getting back to my roots, we in Glow, I hardly knew any of the good girls. We were not allowed as heels to be seen in public.
Because Glow was kayfabe.
We were not, there were some girls, I never knew their real name.
Sure.
We only went by our shoot names. It wasn't until years later which is why it was so hard to find. Which is why it's been so hard to find everybody.
Sure, but you're talking about a wrestling product in the 80s that was still kayfabe.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
I was gonna where I was gonna get to though, Angelo, is they had that show that was Wrestling Secrets Revealed, and Harley Race was actually part of that one under a mask, but he was still part of it.
Sure.
Pitbull Gary Wolf was. They did the stunt granny deal. That to me exposed the business more than anything that McMahon ever said or did.
Well, let's put it this way, Jeff. Tough Enough didn't help.
Nope. A lot of there's been so much.
You cannot air a show like Tough Enough, which featured men and women, and then expose the trick, and then right after that show, put your main show on, Raw, and say, oh, look how believable this is. Well, you just gave away the trick.
look at the show, The Masked Magician.
There you go.
Exactly.
Now,
They're exposing the trick.
no, I get all that. Now, I was gonna get back to Gremlina here. Gremlina, you have been making your way around the Comic-Con and the convention circuit here, and you've been part of the Rhode Island Comic-Con recently.
My 6th time there.
And if I'm not mistaken, weren't you put over by the cast of The Walking Dead?
Well, I was actually at 2 different cons. I've had celebrities mark out on Glow. At Nostalgia Con, I had Shirley from Laverne and Shirley mark out. Come to find out that her and Penny Marshall, huge Glow fans. I got to
I heard that.
crash the panel that Corey Feldman and Sean Astin were hosting for the Goonies / Gremlins.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking at Academy Award nominee Sean Astin. I'm looking at Corey Feldman from the movie that started me going, wow.
Yeah.
But The Walking Dead was so funny because one of the characters, when I was talking to him, I said, I wish you could have came by my booth. Oh, you have a booth? I said, yeah, I'm over here in Wrestlers Row. He giggled. I said, you ever heard of Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling? Yeah. I said, I'm Gremlina from the original Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And the pictures show his look that I have of me and him on my page. He's like, oh my God. Glow was my jam in college. Awesome. And he pulled a button that he was wearing and gave it to me.
Oh, that's funny.
I can't believe I'm talking to a Glow girl.
So, Jeff.
Wow.
So, from the start of this conversation, Grimmy has been kind of teasing us.
Yes.
About this little surprise guest that she's got. So, let's see if you can, pry it out of her.
Now, Gremlina, we understand that Glow has done these big cruises. They've done 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken, getting ready to come up on a 4th.
Yes.
And
hold on.
Well, okay, I'll hang. I'm hanging. I'm just.
That's funny.
Who could we possibly have here?
I don't know, but she's been teasing us all night.
I know.
If she doesn't answer my phone, I will kick her face ass. Roxy!
Uh-oh, it's Roxy. We know that.
I had talked to Roxy before I got on with you guys and told her I'd call back so she could help me.
Got her voicemail.
Hold on, let me check something.
Well, okay,
she's been
a little bit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
unfortunately, some of us girls, life happens.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. Well, while Grimmy is doing that, let me just tell everybody that I had the honor and privilege of spending about an hour and a half on the phone last night with WWE Hall of Famer, handsome Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. And he will join us on the show January the 22nd.
That is
The
awesome.
entire show, we have Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man. And I know, Jeff, you've been marking out for this one. We got Boogie on the show. He's going to talk about his new book. He's going to talk about how he got started in the business and how he and Johnny met and formed the Valiant Brothers.
Me and Boogie, I actually had the privilege and honor of wrestling for Boogie a few different times on the Indies there in North Carolina. Him and Rick Link had had a couple of different matches here and there, and I'll tell you what, it was to sit there in the ring as a referee, even in there with this guy who I grew up watching on WTBS every Saturday, and watch him actually doing his shtick and watching the fans.
I found out something that I didn't know last night. I found out how he got the name Valiant. And I'm not going to tell that story. I'm going to let him tell it.
Podcast. Oh, now Gremlina can appreciate who one of our guests coming up December the 15th, which is going to be a special show that we are going to shoot. We are shooting it with Raph Grimmy the day after he does a ghost hunt.
Sweet.
And we are going to be bringing him on to talk about, a little bit about him helping me out with security and that bit. And then we're going to actually have him talk about his ghost hunting adventures.
Yeah, that's my realm.
Boy.
Yes. And Gremlina's actually been on a couple of hunts with him.
I've been on 5.
So, I mean, the guy's legit.
Oh, he's very legit. And his group is probably one of the more professional paranormal groups I've ever worked with.
And
I've done a couple of shows with the Ghost Adventurers, the Dead Files, Psychic Detectives.
Oh, you mean the show with this is the most haunted place we've ever been. And
yes.
Every location. Yeah. I love Zach. Don't get me wrong, I love Zach, but
now,
little buddy.
Gremlina, really quick.
Zach's a character.
Since you didn't get us, since ROXY had life, and which is cool, and maybe
this is live podcasting. This happened.
There you go. Now, what I was going to say, I'll give you an opportunity, really quick, if you want. Go ahead and tell us all about the Glow Cruise.
Okay. Back in 2015, ROXY came up with an idea that we wanted to do something for the fans. So she came up with what's called the AfterGlow, because it is AfterGlow fan party. And we did our first show at a comedy club in Los Angeles. And it was a humble little Kickstarter that got it going. Well, fast forward, we've done cruises yearly, except for this year we didn't do one.
Right.
Because we had to take some time off. ROXY had some family and health issues with family. I've had my own issues with my husband's health and other things. So we decided to take a year off. And next year, April 4th through the 12th, will be the 4th annual AfterGlow Fan Party Cruise. Now, just to give you an idea of some things that go on in these cruises, we've had Joya Bruno from the group Expose do a concert. We've had a 1980s themed prom.
Yep.
We've had, something little bit. I renewed my wedding vows on the cruise.
Yes, she did.
There you go.
I was going to ask you about that.
That's beautiful. I love the name of this thing, the Afterglow Cruise. That's great. That's a great name.
Oh, yeah.
ROXY, that is ROXY Astor's brainchild, and it's her labor of love. And I'll never forget the day she called me about the first show and the first cruise, and I'm like, girl, I'm there. I'm there. Oh, hold on. Guess what?
Uh-oh, here we
Oh,
go.
here we go. This is live.
Your ears must be burning, girl. We were talking about you.
Oh boy, hopefully all good.
Hey, Roxy, how you doing?
Say hi, Jeff. Hi, Angelo.
Hi Jeff, hi. Who else?
Angelo.
Hi Angela.
Hey, Roxy, how are you, kid? Welcome to the show.
Good, thank you. I just was doing laundry like a normal person and walked up and looked at my phone. And
Well, Gremlina was just putting you over like $1 million.
oh, wait, did you say I got $1 million? What?
I put you over like $1 million.
I know.
Yeah,
All
no,
I
we
that was it.
Well, you know, you are an ass store.
I am an app store. Did you see what they posted? It was Sylvester that posted the Marilyn Monroe and the other one that looked like Tiffany and me.
Yeah, I know.
And wasn't that great?
Yeah, well, I was just getting into telling them about your love child, your labor of love for the fans and for the girls, the AfterGlow.
Oh, the thing that has taken and consumed my life for the last 5 years with the help of Remy and Sunny and Debbie and Angel and who else?
MTV, Jailbait,
Jailbait,
Beastie.
Yeah, and without them, I think I probably would have done one show 5 years ago. Did you let them know about the phone call?
Yeah.
That I called you up first and told you about it, and you thought it was a great idea?
And I said, no matter what, I'll be there. And I've been at every AfterGlow event that I could be at since.
Yes, she is one of the biggest cheerleaders of the Afterglow because it's more than, it's, like I was talking to the Callings today. Where do they live? Or do they live in Alabama?
They're in Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah, and it's like I remember they were at the very first cruise, and some of our fans, we talked to them on the phone. They're like family. We get Christmas cards, birthday cards.
They visit.
It's a different relationship, I think, with fans than anybody could really have.
So, Roxy, I got a question for you. I've got a question for you, Roxy. How'd you get sucked up into this racket?
Which racket?
Wrestling in general.
Women's wrestling.
Oh, wrestling in general. Gosh, I can't say I was a wrestling fan. Because I grew up in Auburn, Washington, so not really a fan. Honestly, I was a G.L.O.W fan. I was a G.L.O.W fan. It was just something very new that I watched every Saturday morning when I moved out to L.A.
So how do you go from watching the show to being a part of it?
I know Grammy's story's different, but I just saw on the TV that they were looking for girls, and I tried out at that time because I needed a job. So
that's the second time we've actually heard where someone would put up a number on the television, and you would call a number. Can you imagine that happening today, Jeff?
Never. Now, Roxy, really, that's kind of funny. You just said I just needed a job, so I decided I would become a wrestler. That's kind of funny. I mean, like who sits there and goes, well, I've never really watched this. I'm just a fan of this product, and what the heck? I need a job. Might as well give it a shot. I mean,
the truth, because I want people to know that like anything is possible.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. But honestly, if I would have known there was 3,500 girls trying out, that is what I heard. And I'm sure there might be different numbers.
Back up. How many?
Got scared.
The total number that tried out at all the auditions came up to about 3,500.
3,500 women?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't know, and I wasn't in the acting world like a lot of the people like MTV and a few other girls, so I didn't know anything about that or know anything about an agent. I was a hairdresser, and I had to wait to get my license in LA. So in the meantime, it was just like, I'm like, if I get it, fine. If I don't, great.
She created
I
my
had-
Grimmy hair in Glow. She's the one who did my hair.
Yeah, that. Now, I was going to ask you, Roxy. You were. What seasons were you part of?
3 and 4.
Same as Grammy, 3 and 4.
Okay. I was just wondering which ones you were. Now, we asked Gremlina about it, and I would love to have you on as a guest sometime. You and Gremlina together would be amazing. But
Right.
real quick, your character, I'm assuming you were pitched just like Gremlina was by Matt, or did you come up with all that on your own?
Well, no, because if we could have picked who we wanted to be, it definitely would not been a Park Avenue knockout from New York. I didn't have a butler, or did I care to? I am so, I'm from Auburn, Washington, so it was just so out of character. And the thing is, like, who do you turn to even play that character? So I kind of thought, having a little bit of stage fright, if I got nervous, I could actually, kind of talk to the audience. And if I wanted to get into the ring quicker, I would skip into the ring. And kind of like AJ does, AJ Lee, that's what she did. So I kind of came up with all these things, but I did not come up with her. And that's why I brought it up about the Marilyn Monroe. And who was that girl that was with her, that actress?
That would be Jane Russell, I think.
Jane Russell, yeah. There's another actress with red hair that Matt had in mind for me, like I think that was from the 40s.
Rita Hayworth.
Yeah, it was Rita Hayworth. So I came in with like bleached blonde, permed, ratted out hair, and he wanted me to have like this smooth look like Rita Hayworth. And there was no way my hair was ever going to look like that. In fact, when I was wrestling, because I would foam in this red hair because I fought all the way. There's no way I'm dyeing my hair red. My hair was so tore up, broken between glitter and Aquanet, it would actually break in the ring when I did a move. When I hit
Wow. Wow.
But you could color strip my hair and dye it. Okay, great. Thanks.
I could do it, but to be your own hairdresser. So I did not pick that character. I would have picked the one like the bad girl type character.
She would have made a fabulous heel.
Well, now Roxy.
Blunt.
That's why I turned myself into a heel. Remember with the dementia match?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote that match because I told Dementia, who doesn't speak through the whole match, and she doesn't through, when she wrestles. But, little did I know, the first time I became a heel, that I couldn't say anything. And if anybody knows me, that killed me all the way through.
Oh, no, not you.
I must confess now, Roxy,
Really?
me as a young man back in 1987 as a 10-year-old young boy, I had quite the crush on you.
Oh boy.
I had a crush on you back in the day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, Jeff's dirty secrets are coming out.
I loved Roxy too. She was a lot of fun.
Now, I'll just go ahead and give you an opportunity, Roxy. Why don't you tell us a little bit? We were asking Gremlina, but why don't you tell us a little bit about this, the AfterGlow Cruise that you guys got coming up? AfterGlow Cruise number 4. And where y'all taking off from port and all that good jazz? Where can they buy tickets? Where can we find out info?
Okay, well, we did, and Gremlina's been there from the start, and it started off with, I think it was like a 4-day cruise, and we wanted to see, how it would work with the fans, and we had so much fun that we had to do it another year, and then another year, and then something happened where I just, I had to give it a break. I'm like, I have nothing else really to give this cruise, because all the girls, the shows we put on the cruises, we did the AfterGlow fan parties, we had pie eating contests where they were blindfolded or you got spoon fed by a glow girl. Events. Oh yeah, we had some, one pie, you had to lick a pie, through the whole thing. Or
Wow.
We had athletic games. We had dodgeball, basketball with the Glow Girls.
pub crawls
Uh,
that got shut down.
Yeah, we didn't make it. They didn't make it past deck 8 on that last pub crawl.
No, it got shut down, and then even to having Gremlina renew her vows.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And, kind of lead to like the next cruise, like how can you top that? So, I took, a break and ended up doing the AfterGlow play, the AfterGlow musical play, which I have to say has 8 nominations from Broadway World. And Matilda the Hun and myself, we got nominated for Best Actress. So
Terrific.
Dan Magnus, MMA kickboxing champion, Best Choreography.
Yeah, and this is through Broadway World. So in that time that I gave the cruise a break, let's do a play. So I'm always kind of doing something to keep the fans, excited. So now we have the 4th annual cruise, and I have been waiting for Norwegian to come to LA, and so we could take one. It's Norwegian Joy.
Okay.
Drink package, and it's a newer ship, and I was kind of bored with some of the cruise ships out here in LA, so I thought let's bring it back to the West Coast. So of course we will have the AfterGlow events, and I did something this year that I'm kind of now pranking the Glow Girls. I'm letting some of the fans that have been there from day one, they get a half hour of the AfterGlow fan party. They're going to be putting a show on for us, and we have no idea what it's going to be.
Wow.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. I know Roxy briefly mentioned it. When you book your cabin, you also get free unlimited drink package.
Oh, sign me up.
And 4 nights.
Fine dining.
4 nights of specialty dining at any of the restaurants on board.
I'll say this: if me and Angela could afford to get out there, we should do a live or do the podcast.
Oh, I could afford to get out there. I want to be invited. You use a psychic.
I'm going to go date with a fan for one of my specialty. I think a few of the Glow Girls are going to go on a date with a fan, so it's like a fantasy date with a Glow Girl. How cool is that?
Ooh.
And yes,
Sign me up.
I've been pimped out.
You've been pimped out.
Now, Gremlina, is Alan okay with this?
And let me tell you, if you want to get on this cruise, you've got a very limited time left before the prices go up.
But we have to tell them where it's going from LA to the Mexican Riviera, and there is a race car track on top of the ship. There is laser tag, and this is a newer ship, and it's got new restaurants. It's probably one of the newest ships, and it's the first time, like I said, that Norwegian has been out here, so I'm very, very excited. And I'm telling you, when you book and you go out with our cruises, you are partying with the Glow Girls for a week.
You are having breakfast with us. You are having lunch with us.
Whether you like it or not, you are having.
I would just, I mean, I would want to.
Time to get up, so.
I would just want to know, can I take any of my special trees on there with me?
Show some clips of the play, of the AfterGlow 80s musical of the play that's never been seen before. So I always make sure that every cruise that I have something to give back to the fans. And I'm going to tell you one thing too about these Glow Girls. These Glow Girls they don't do it to get paid. In fact, they put some of their money into this.
It's a labor of love.
Fans. It's not been about money or anybody making money. It's having a good time with the fans, so we have memories and then go back again.
That's terrific. I think that's wonderful.
And it's real.
Well, Roxy, is there anything else you want to plug before we let you go?
I'm going to plug the website. You go to www.theafterglowcruise.com, and you can see like a whole kind of an album of the pictures of what we've done the last 3 cruises and things with the Glow Girls. So
Terrific.
and Grammy will say it again, the AfterGlowCruise.com.
Yes.
And
Or you can contact me or any of the girls. You can contact me or Roxy or Eileen or Sunny the California girl.
I would say contact Grammy.
Yes.
Grammy is the one to contact. And if you have any questions, you can contact Nora or Patrick on the website. So are you guys going?
I would love to. I mean, mine's a money issue for Jeff over here, but I would love to be there. I mean, Gremlina's asked me every year to come. I mean, I really would love to go. Honest to God.
He can tell you, I'm at VCW. I've bullied the ring announcer into announcing our cruise at the ring.
She did.
I'd like to be invited to work it.
Like I said, this is all from the heart, and we call this, like a gift to our fans who end up becoming friends. It's not like any like Chris Jericho's cruise where you see. It's hard to even explain, but it's more like a family type thing.
It really does sound like a labor of love.
Okay, the Jericho Cruise, the guys pay, but then the fans are also having to pay to interact with the wrestlers and get pictures and autographs and do whatever. Whereas you guys are accessible morning, day, evening, and night with the.
And we sing the Glow rap at every dinner.
And now I think
this year, hold on, Roxy has sort of talked me into. I'm leading the pub crawl.
Oh my gosh.
She is.
I'm leading the pub crawl. So for that's worth the price of admission right there.
No.
And we plan on closing that one down too.
Yeah. I just hope there's enough room in the brig for all of us. But anyway.
Oh, and you know what? And Debbie, Dallas is going to be doing the AfterGlow boot camp, and it's not like any other boot camp you've ever seen. And on any event that AfterGlow has, you might think that it's a normal like a pie eating contest or something. There's always a twist to everything. And so I do that on purpose. So sometimes the girls are surprised and the fans are always surprised and always happy, and they look forward to that. Because I love pulling pranks and doing all that. So
yeah.
Well, awesome. It has been a pleasure talking with you, Miss Roxy. And once again, fans, that is AfterGlowCruise.com.
I will. Oh, and can I let it slip?
Go.
Next year, in 2020, around November-ish, Roxy will be visiting me to go to Rhode Island Comic-Con.
Terrific.
For the first time ever.
Well,
yes.
Rhode Island will never be the same, I'll tell you that.
Oh, hell no.
I will say this, Roxy, if VCW happens to be running a show during that week, we would love to have you come and visit us.
Absolutely. I like to get out there and meet and talk to people. We had a good time at NostalgiaCon. And
we had a ball there.
Well, Roxy, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And we'd love to show sometime where we can see you face to face.
Go back to your laundry, and I'll call you later, hon.
I will, Mom. Thank you.
All right, love you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Grammy, we would love to have her back on between now and the cruise to plug it once again, both of you. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
All you got to do is reach out to her, message her on Facebook.
I will make sure to friend her and Angelo too. Now, I think, I don't know if Roxy was catching it, but Angelo has a good idea. Why not have a night with the psychic on board that cruise?
If we could afford you, we would. Unfortunately, you'd have to pay for yourself.
I can do that.
Then sign up, come on the cruise. We'd love to have you. I'm serious because, and here's my shameless plug. Anybody I refer, it helps towards my cabin.
Exactly.
Plug.
Grimmy, I can only see half your face right now, kid.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry.
No. Understandable. Now, real quick, fans, let me just let y'all in on something. Gremlina will be there this Saturday, VCW. this Saturday, December the 7th. Big show. Probably the third, depends on how you rank them, third largest name that we've ever had in VCW. We're going to have Mick Foley there. And I only say third largest because we have had Flair and Piper, and you can't really top those two. So,
Jay Dillon, Arn Anderson.
well, I mean, we've had legends, but I mean, I'm talking when you're going up into that main event of legends, there's very few that actually hit that status, and Mick Foley is up there.
Oh, yeah. Mick is a treasure. I hung out with him at Rhode Island. And
Oh, we love Mick.
shameless
We
plug.
love Mick.
I will be at VCW on Saturday. And Jeff, there's a rumor that I may be coming out of retirement and going back into managing again soon.
I've heard this. There's a tag team that you have been looking at called the Freaks and Geeks.
No, the Natural Born Freaks.
Oh, I'm sorry, but to say a tag team would fit her today, this tag team fits Gremlina. I'm not kidding you.
Members I have a history with anyway.
Yes, you do. You do have you do. She has managed various talents over the years there in VCW. They tend to give her the freaks, I guess you would say, the out there characters.
I've been managed Mugabe.
Yep.
I can't imagine why they would do that.
Crotch.
Yep. Crotch,
And
the Lost Boy Crotch, in which he did like a Lost Boy gimmick, a vampire Lost Boy gimmick.
Yeah.
I love it.
And a Safi briefly.
Yep.
So, Gremlina, is there anything else you want to plug before we say goodnight to you?
Yes.
Go for it.
I will have these at VCW. If you contact me via Facebook, I'm having a holiday gift bag sale. Basically put, I have Gremlina merchandise. In my gift bag, you will get a t-shirt in any size you want that I have in stock, a keychain, which are brand new, just got them, a button, and a signed 8x10. The Gremlina bundle pack is $35.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
It is, and it's good for Christmas for that wrestling fan out there.
Exactly. Now, if I have to ship it to you, I'll have to charge you a little for shipping. I will have them available at the show. Now, also, we have the deluxe Gremlina bundle pack, which includes
A date with Gremlina.
out here, people. It includes a handheld whip like I carry, which will be signed by me.
And she also has a couple of ring used whips.
50. I also will be selling, I am selling, but it ain't cheap because it's been used in events. It was on Piper's Pit. It has been used on Daisy at a Cauliflower Alley Club event. It is my actual genuine leather, full-size Cat of Nine Tails whip that I carry with me. I'm selling it.
And what's the asking price?
$250.
All right, so if anyone listening is interested in that Cat of Nine Tails direct from Gremlina, you can contact her via Facebook. Let us know here at the show, and we will get in touch with her and make the transaction for you.
And like I said, I have two different bundle packs. The one with the whip is $15. With the smaller handheld whip is $50. The one with the t-shirt, button, keychain, and 8x10 is $35. The $50 one includes all of that plus a handheld whip.
And you're found on Facebook at Sandy Gremlina Manley.
Right. I also have a Gremlina page on Facebook.
That is true. Yep. All right. Well, Grimmy, it has been our pleasure.
And Instagram.
Okay. Well, it's been our pleasure having you here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime. And like I said, if you want, I think Jeff and I will try to work on Princess Victoria for you. And
I think we can make that happen.
Who knows? maybe you can get a couple more Glow Girls on your show.
Hey, that would be awesome.
That works for us. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will definitely be in touch with you. And once again, it's Gremlina on Facebook, or her personal page is Sandy Gremlina Manley. And hit her up.
It's www.theafterglowcruise.com, or hit me up on Facebook and I'll give you the number for the Galaxy Cruise people.
There you go.
Terrific. All right, well.
And I'll see you Saturday, Jeff.
You got it.
All right, Gremlina, thanks for joining us. You take care now.
Anytime.
Great night. Bye-bye. All right. That was an interesting conversation, Jeff.
I'll tell you what, we went all kinds of directions there. We went,
oh boy.
you getting kind of heated there for a moment.
She was a character.
She is. I told you you would love her. I did. I told you from the get-go, man.
She's feisty one, huh?
She is, and I love her to death. I mean, me and her didn't get into it, but well, we kind of did. I mean, I literally did